the much awaited trailer to Christopher Nolan's epic film, perhaps ever in his filmography, has finally landed, and the talk about it is massive, and obviously it looks like that's going to be perhaps, if not the biggest movie of the year aside or outside the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It may be, the second, or in terms of how epic, and in terms of box office wise, well, we can never tell as to whether that's going to be bigger than a Marvel Avengers. But regardless, the the cinematography, and even the how epic the production was indicated how beautiful the shots would be on screen. And finally, we have the trailer. So we're going to take a look as to how epic it is on screen. And knowing what Christopher Nolan have been able to do with the Dark Knight trilogy, with the Interstellar, with the Inception, Oppenheimer, obviously this will continue in the same trend. So now let's just watch the trailer and see for ourselves as to whether this indeed will live up to the hype or is actually real. Let's take a look at it briefly. My name is Papa Otu, and this is the Film Mandate. And let's just stay tuned for this trailer reaction. Oh, pardon me. Okay, let's go.
After years of war, no one could stand between my men and home. Not even me.
Promise me you will come back.
What if I can't?
The Odyssey. Yeah, so that is the Odyssey trailer for you by, the iconic film director Christopher Nolan. And obviously, when it comes to the visuals, I think Hoyt van Hoytma is the same cinematography for this, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's the same cinema DOP for this particular production. But obviously, it is as epic as usual. And what makes Christopher Nolan's film unique is how, as much as he can, would want to shoot it on real location, real places, with the minimal to less or nothing of visual effects in it. And obviously, you can feel that gritty, grounded reality or realism to this particular production. And the fact that he took that pain to ensure that all this film are shot on the actual real locations as to how this story take place it is quite interesting to see. Even on the shot on the sea was something that he shot in reality, not on a sound stage. So he actually shot it on the shores, the oceans itself. So that is quite interesting. As to how the storm was created, that I can't tell. Obviously, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of VFX or a little bit of practical effects being incorporated in there to achieve the reality. But the little articles I read on it indicated that yes, they he wanted them to experience how the journey felt like when Odysseus was embarking on the journey in returning home to the wife and child. So obviously that is what this entire whole story is about, the 10-year journey between the time he decided to return home after the wars that he had embarked on to finally getting to meet the wife and the child who is now old. But the interesting thing about it all, I don't know whether pardon me, pardon my ignorance if I mean, but the first shot is quite interesting, having the graveyard of those that they've lost. Obviously, it looks like that of his army rather than the enemy. It looks like that is the case. The is more of his army rather than the enemy. And then if you go on further, the the shot of him facing off against, and I obviously think that this may be the enemy, and the enemy or whatever whoever this is. I think the name the name escapes me, but let me see if I can come up with the name or bring up the name. But the the good thing, it looks like this is the enemy, if I'm not mistaken, and he looks very formidable, even from the armor to the comparing the armory or the armor of the enemy, if that is the case, to that of um was to that of Matt Damon. It looks very, formidable compared to them. And I think the name of, pardon me, I just want to get the name of the, yeah. So you have, the, um, yeah, is it Agamemnon? Agamemnon. Yeah, and it looks very epic, from the golden staff holding the mane on the hair to on the helmet to the entire armory, there from the helmet to the uh, the breastplate. It looks very formidable, far formidable and intimidating compared to that of Matt Damon. I don't know much about the story. Perhaps this would be a right opportunity to take to read much about the Odysseus, the Homer's story, Odysseus, the Odyssey in its entirety before the film is released come next year. But it looks good from everything I've seen here. It looks really, really good, and yeah. But I think there are still more characters to be shown here. Obviously, the actors like Robert Pattinson, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, and I think Benny Safdie and John Bental are all not shown here. Yeah, Charlize Theron. No, I think yeah, Charlize Theron and John Bental. I think Benny Safdie is in there, but they are all not shown here. But yeah, and obviously, it looks like Christopher Nolan is leaning into the entirety, like even the I don't know whether those are zombies, those who emerged from the ground. Pardon my ignorance, just as I said. But obviously, the undead or the dead who rose from the ground, they looked very, yeah, yeah. So it looks like some form of dead. So it's actually a fantasy. So obviously, some of these things will be in the gods, um, you know, it's a myth, combined with myth and everything. So that is quite interesting to see. But I'm gonna be keen to see how Christopher Nolan is gonna pull this off. Obviously, he will pull it off. So that would be something interesting to see. Sword and Sandals, epic story in this nature is something. And for those who may not know, actually, Christopher Nolan was tapped to direct the Brad Pitt film. Is it Troy? Yeah, he was actually tapped to direct it, but I think he failed. I don't know for what reason. I've forgotten the reason why he turned it down. But obviously, it looks like this is the right time for him to do this story, and it actually shows in this trailer. And from the look of every other sorry. Yeah, so from the look of every other, oh, come on, pardon me. Yeah, so from the look of every other, what's it called? Every other screen or scene that we've seen in this trailer, it looks like, yeah, um, he has indeed, waited for the right time to do this. And listen, every shot in this trailer looks very epic in nature, very epic in nature, and it's something I'm actually going to look forward to watch in the cinemas when it finally comes out. And yeah, that would be very wonderful to see on the big screen, particularly in the IMAX version. Unfortunately, I don't have IMAX where I am in my country, so I would have to make do with the normal screens that I have. But regardless, I think whether on the big IMAX screen or the normal one is going to look as epic as possible. So that'll be very interesting to see. And yeah, come yeah, I think when is it being released? I think it's being released on yeah in July 17th July. So come 17th July of next year, we'll get to see what as usual, Christopher Nolan has in store for us. Let me know what you think about this trailer. I think it's epic. I think it's grand. I think it's delivering on all the the aspects of what we know a Christopher Nolan film delivers. And pardon me, my internet is acting funny. I don't know whether it's because of the holidays and a lot of people are, using the internet. That's why it's disrupting it that way. But pardon me, it shouldn't be happening that way. But it is, yeah. So let me know what you think with regards to this particular trailer, where the Odyssey trailer by Christopher Nolan. Um, Let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think it's going to be as epic as usual in delivering, just as other Christopher Nolan's film has delivered? Let me know your thoughts on this and leave your comments in the comment section below. All too soon, I've come to an end of another wonderful trailer, you know, trailer reaction, and then I'm excited to have shared this with you. So I'll come your way again with another exciting trailer. My name is Papa O2, and this has been the Film Mandate. I'll see you soon.